Look at fractions and percentages. We'll start with fractions first of all, and making sure you're clear between the difference between mixed numbers and improper fractions. So we're just going to play about with these. First of all, what I'll do is I'll break down an improper fraction into a mixed number. That's basically top-heavy fractions. 5 into 24 goes 4 times, remainder 4. So that's the number of times it goes in, and that's your remainder. And we'll do one more, just to make sure that's clear. If I had 100 over 12, well, I wouldn't start with that one. I'll try to break that down a wee bit. I can divide both by 2, so 50 over 6. Anything to make it easier, always do. That divides again, 25 over 3. That looks a lot easier to me. 3 goes into 25 8 times, remainder 1. Now, so that's improper fractions into mixed numbers. I'm now going to do it the other way around. If I had a mixed number, how do I turn it into an improper fraction? Those are the ones where you go the number times the bottom, add the top. So 10 times 3 is 30, add 1, 31 over 3. And we'll just check that again over here. 5 and 6 sevenths. So it's 5 times 7 is 35, 35 add 6 is 41. So that's your improper numbers and, mixed numbers and improper fractions. The next one I'm going to look at is adding and subtracting. Adding and subtracting fractions. Now, when you're doing this, it's really important that the denominator, that's the bottom lines, are the same. And if you have any mixed numbers, turn them into improper fractions first. So I'll write that down. Turn any mixed numbers into improper fractions first. That just makes life a lot easier. You can sometimes get away without having to do this, but it can end with a few problems. So the next bit I'm going to look at is adding and subtracting fractions. I would really recommend turning any mixed numbers into improper fractions first before you start this. You can do it without turning them into improper fractions, but it's quite easy to get it wrong. So I would recommend you do this, and then you make the bottom lines, or the proper name for bottom lines is the denominators the same. Denominators the same by multiplying. Now this all should be familiar enough. So we'll just go straight into a wee example here. So say if you had 5½ minus 2 and 2/3. Change them into improper fractions first. So it'll be 5 times 2 is 10, add 1, 11 over 2. 2 times 3 is 6, add 2, 8 over 3. Make the bottoms the same. 2 and 3 both go into 6. To change your 2 to a 6, you have to times it by a 3. So you must times the top by a 3. To change your 3 into a 6, you times it by 2, so you must times the top by 2. So it's 33 minus 16. Over this, go over to the side if you prefer to do your work right over there. 3 take by 6 you can't do, so you borrow. 13 take by 6 is 7. 2 take by 1 is 1. So that sum becomes 17 over 6. And it's always nice to break it down at the end. 6 goes into 17 twice with 5 left over. I'm going to do one more of those, and we'll see what this is like. If you had 5½ take away 1 3/4, put brackets around that, and add 2 4/5. If I was doing that kind of sum there, all into mixed numbers or improper fractions first. So 5 times 2 is 10, add 1 is 11 over 2. 4 times 1 is 4, add 3, 7 over 4. Add 2 times 5 is 10, add 4 is 14 over 5. So 2 and 4, do the brackets first, make the bottoms the same, so put them both over 4. To change your 2 to your 4, you had to multiply it by 2, so you multiply the top by 2, 11 times 2. 4 to 4, there's no change. And not forget about the second number here. So 22 take away 7 is 15. Add, and then 14 over 5. And then to do those last two, you want to make the bottoms the same. 4 and 5 both go into 20. To change your 4 into a 20, you times by 5, so you have to times the top line by 5. 5 5s are 25, 5 1s are 5, add the 2 you're carrying. From 5 to 20, you times by 4, so you've got to times top line by 4. 4 times 4 is 16, 1 times 4 is 4 plus 1 you're carrying. Now you add the tops, so we'll do it over at the side. 75 add 56 is 11, 12, 13, so it's 131 over 20. 20 goes into that 6 times, because 6 times 20 is 120, and you have 11 left over. So when you're adding or subtracting fractions, make sure the bottoms are the same. The next one I want to look at is multiplying fractions. Now, to multiply fractions, you want to try to cancel top and bottom first. Now, what do I mean by cancelling? I mean by dividing them by the same number. Once you have all your cancelling done, then you multiply the tops, or the numerators, multiply the tops, and then you multiply the bottoms. And if you do it that way, it usually works out quite well. So, for example, if I had 2.5 times 3 3/5, again I should have stayed there. Any mixed numbers, put them into improper first. So 2 times 4 is 2, add 1. 3 times 5 is 15, add 3. Now, I'm looking at this 5. 5 and this 5 cancels by 5, as in they both divide by 5. So we'll do that. 5 into 5, 5 into 5. 2 and 18 also cancels. 2 goes into 2, 2 goes into 18. Multiply the tops, 1 times 9, multiply the bottoms. Now 9 over 1 is obviously just the same as 9, so you can leave it like that. We'll do another one, just to check that through. Let's see if we can get a more difficult one. Right, let me see. If I had 4 1/3 times 1/2 times 3 over 7. We'll have a go at that one. So again, this is the only one you need to change. So it's 4 times 3 is 12, add 1, times 1 over 2 times 3 over 7. I'm looking across that. 13 does not cancel anything. Nothing divides into it. 1 doesn't count. 3, and that 3 cancels by 1. 3 into 3, 3 into 3. Now I'm finished. Multiply the top lines. 13 times 1 times 1. Multiply the bottom lines. 1 times 2 times 7. And that's that one finished. The next one I'm going to look at is dividing fractions. Now, to divide fractions, you turn the one after the division sign upside down. So turn the fraction after the division sign, upside down, and multiply. Okay, so we'll see what that looks like. Let's have a wee go at this one. 4 2/3 divided by 1 7/9. So again, improper fractions before you start. 4 times 3 is 12, add 2 is 14, divided by 1 times 9 is 9, add 7, 16. So you turn the fraction after the division sign upside down and you multiply. Now I'm looking across at my numbers here and see if I can cancel. I can cancel 3 and 9 by 3. 3 into 3, 3 into 9. I can cancel 14 and 16 by 2. 2 into 14, 2 into 16, giving me 3 times 7 times 3 is 21. 1 times 8 is 8. Break that down. So 8 goes into 21 twice, with 5 left over. I'll do another one of the division ones, just to check. I think that's all understood. So, for example, this one here I'm going to do 3 divided by 2 1/3. Now, first of all, make them look like fractions. If you ever have a number on its own, put it over 1. So I'll put a wee note here in the margin to turn an ordinary number into a fraction, put it over 1. Over 1. So that's 3 over 1, divide it by, and that's 2 times 3, 6, add 1, 7 over 3. So you turn the fraction after the division sign upside down. Now remember, you can only cancel top and bottom. 3 does not go into 7. And 3 does not go into 7. You cannot cancel two tops. It has to be a top and a bottom. Any bottom's fine as long as it's top and a bottom. Then do your multiplication now. 3 3s are 9. It's 1 times 7, 7. Break it down. 7 goes into 9 once with 2 over. And that's your division. The other thing I want to look at in this section is finding a fraction of a quantity. Now this is straightforward enough. If you were asked to find a fraction of something, if you were asked to find a half, you divide by 2. If you're asked to find a quarter, you divide by 4. If you're asked to find a fifth, you divide by 5. So basically what you do is you divide by bottom, divide by the bottom denominator, and then you multiply by the numerator. That's the top. So if I wanted to find 2/5 or something, I would divide by 5 and I would times by 2. If I wanted to find 4/7, I'd divide by 7 and I'd multiply by 4. So let's have a wee go. 5/6 of 1260. So I'm going to take my 1260, I'm going to divide by 6. So 1260, divide by the bottom. 6 into 1 doesn't go, carry it over. 6 into 12 goes twice. And that gives you 10. So we've divided it by 6 and then you multiply by the top. So it's 210 times 5, not 510. So your answer is 1050. Just to finish off here, I want to do a quite difficult example, and it's in exercise 5.4 and it's question 3. I think it is quite an awkward wee question there. It says a man works for 7.5 hours. So he works for 7.5 hours each day. And while he's at his work, he's on the computer for 2.25 hours. And it says, what fraction of his work is at a computer? So fraction at computer at work. Now, let me try to put that into some type of context. So he's at his computer for 2.25 hours. That's out of his whole working day of 7.5. Always work with improper fractions. 2 times 4 is 8, add 1. 7 times 2 is 14, add 1. Now, what that there means is 9 over 4 divided by 15 over 2. To divide by a fraction, you turn it upside down and multiply. Cancel. 2 goes into 2 once and 2 goes into 4 twice. And then cancel 9 and 15 by 3. 3 into 9 goes 3 times. 3 into 15 goes 5 times. Multiply the two tops. Multiply the two bottoms. And that's that one there. The wordy questions of fractions can be quite difficult in trying to work out exactly what they're looking for there. I'm going to just do one more exercise there. It's caught my eye. It's question 6. It says 2.5 kilos of vegetables cost £4. What is the cost per kilo? So I want to work out what 1 kilo is. So if you've got 2.5 kilos and you want 1 kilo, if you divide by 2.5, you'll get 1 kilo. So you've got to divide this side by 2.5. So if I take my £4 and I divide it by 2.5, make them look like fractions, write that as 4 over 1, divide it by 2 times 2 is 4, add 1, 5 over 2. Turn the 1 after the division sign upside down and multiply. There's no cancelling to be done anywhere. 4 times 2 is 8 over 5. 5 goes into 8 once with 3 over. So it's 3 over 5. Now we're talking money. It doesn't make sense to leave it like that. So I would turn it into a decimal. And remember, when you're turning things into decimals, they have to be over 10 or 100 or 1,000. So doubling that turns it over 10. So it's 1.60.